You know, I found something odd about Firion's whole weapon telekinesis ability thingy. It's so similar to Noctis Armature ability. Like, I imagine when NOMURA designed Firion's moveset, he was like, screw it, just use Noctis Armature ability and downgrade it a little bit. Like, can summon a weapon out of thin air, can warp strike, and reduce the amount of weapons from 13 to 7. Wait a second. 13 and 7? You're never going to stop using that 2 number, don't you, NOMURA? Alright, joke aside, I kinda like Firion. Even though I'm more of an agile aerial fighter guy, I'm still enjoying his multiple weapon gimmick. Part of me surprised that he, of all people, got the most votes from last video. Consider that compared to other protagonists, he is probably the least popular of all. I mean, aside from Dissidia, have he ever got any role in other spin-off? Not that many from what I know. Well, at least Barton sit on a close second, so better luck next time, you two. Firion's title was a weapon specialist, and technically he still is, but most people remember him as a ground master. He is pretty slow, sure, I mean he carries 7 weapons at once, but his ground close range and mid range attack are really scary. They can be changed to 3 different moves and, oh look at that, HP shed attack. But as a ground master, that automatically makes Firion a mid-air trash. He only has 3 pathetic magic attack and incredibly short range single hit sword slash. And HP attack, seriously, the main reason I use him is mostly because lot of arm. This makes him a very situational character because the majority of Dissidia battle is happening in mid-air. Of all the characters, he fits the trope crippling over specialization the most. Or Little Mac, if you will. But is he still a pretty boy who obsessed with wild roads? Let's join the rebel army and fight the Emperor in Firion's Warrior Spotlight. It's kinda weird to go to Firion after Warrior of Light. I mean, in terms of order, it makes sense. But they have one pretty huge difference. They are both heavy type, but the difficulty and learning curve is like the exact opposite. If Warrior of Light is an easy to play character perfect for newcomer, then Firion is a top tier hardcore character. But not necessarily the type of character who, if you're really good at him, then nobody can counter you. He is still situational and has some strong counter, a lot of it actually. Playing him effectively takes a lot of skill and teamwork. But if you have both of them, oh boy does he scary. So how is he in arcade version? Most of returning characters are either change the mechanic entirely or make it a little more simple. But Firion, however, well, not only does his concept didn't change at all, but they make him do anything but simple. If Firion in Duodecim is a ground king, then in the arcade version it's a ground god. And yes, his aerial combat is even worse than before. But some of you might wonder, if they didn't fix his aerial combat, how can they make him work here? In PSP game, fighting happens in mid-air 90% of the time. And yes, you have a point. And it's mostly still say the same in the arcade version. But unlike the original, it's almost impossible to never hit the ground. There's a lot of factors like arena design, team composition, but the main reason is the dash meter, which can only be recharged by hitting a ground. And that's pretty much what Firion player will be doing most of the time. Just keep chasing his opponent and wait just the moment they have to hit the ground and jackpot. Alright, probably enough with teasing, let's go to what kind of role he is, which can be rather difficult to classify. I mean, I would say he's a fighter, but not an ordinary fighter too. What I classify as a fighter in this game is a character who is a melee focused with a lot of damage, but also has some long range projectile for some situation. Someone like Cloud, Garland, and Lamsa really fits the bill. Firion, however, specialize in one thing: close range AoE. Remember that I say he's a ground god? This is why. In this game, AoE effects are mostly in HP attack, or if it's a bravery attack, it's mostly slow and long range, and majority of its sacrifice area for damage. Firion's close range AoE have 3 different types. Ground neutral is a 360-degree close range, ground forward is a cone-shaped mid-range, and ground backward is a straight line long range. The shorter the range, the stronger the move. And each move have 3 steps which he can change to any type he wants. This visual representation probably explains better than me. Side note, don't change from long range or mid-range attack to close range attack. It's not gonna hit. Okay, so there is a lot of awesome thing about all these moves. First off is range. The area of these attacks is big, especially ground neutral. Thrust Lance, which is the first move of that, also comes with an absorb effect, making it even easier to suck its opponents in. Second reason is speed. Even though each 3 steps of attack are counted as individual one, they are surprisingly fast. There is another thing about speed too, but I will go to that later in the patch update section. The last and the most important one, the damage. Oh, you thought Limited Cloud is strong? You thought Soul of Chaos 2 Goblin is strong? If you count all of its 3 steps together, his neutral ground has a total of 752 damage, the highest base damage of all bravery attacks. The only moves that surpass that are only EX skill. And I have to remind you, it's fast, has the absorb effect, and a huge AoE. If you know how to use it, Firion's neutral ground combo is the best bravery attack in the entire game. One weakness, which also applies to all of his ground attack, is that he's stationary while doing it. This is one of many weaknesses he has, but gladly they sort of fix it in one patch. Again, I will go to that later. So after replacing him like a god, time to burn him down to the ground. Or in mid-air really. His mid-air combat was garbage, like super duper bad. He have only one mid-air bravery attack and it's a very short range sword slash that deal only 288 damage. Sure, he can use change move to make it easier to hit, but it's still weak as hell. It's so bad they actually give him a brand new move. That's right, in April 21st, 2016, the patch 1.21 gave him a backward mid-air attack called Vertical Drive. Think of it as a discount Sizzle Nightfall. It's still 80 damage plus 16 per height, but of course it's not used for damage. Not only does it can change from change move, it can also change to ground attack if you use it right. It's situational, but again, that's pretty much sum up what Firion is like. Geez, this video gonna be like twice as long as Warrior of Light video, isn't it? Wonder how long Onion Night video will be. Alright, time for the actual patch. His popularity is nothing really special or worth mention though. A little higher than WoW, but not much. And still say mostly the same, so not really surprised here. First off is the previously mentioned patch 1.21, which aside from Vertical Drive, this is the biggest buff Firion ever get. Nothing like increasing damage or range, but rather an additional mechanic. This patch changed his ground attack to make his combo faster and make him dash cancel easier, or technically it's called dodge cancel. This makes him better at dodging while attacking. This is what I mentioned about his speed and his stationary weakness. So what does this dodge cancel can do? Oh ho ho, a lot actually. He can pause an attack mid-combo to start another combo. His attacks are pretty fast, so it's pretty easy to extend the damage. Sometimes you can use his ground forward to force his opponent to dodge sideways, and then you dodge forward and use ground neutral to make it almost guaranteed hit. There are a lot of tricks he can use with this dodge cancel method, but it requires a lot of training for players, another reason why he's a hardcore tier character. And like Warrior of Light, patch afterward mostly changed its HP attack. Unlike WoW however, Firion's players are pretty flexible with HP attack. Well, they rarely use Revenge of Arm cause it's a counter, but they change it a little bit, but detail is pretty minor, but overall counter is a little bit faster now. All the 3 HP attacks have been used pretty consistently. Lord of Arm range have been increased significantly, making it a pretty all-round and viable choice. Master of Arm, or Weapon Master if you will, I just like to call that way, it used to have maximum range scaled by the current health. It used to have maximum range at 3500, but now maximum range is at 3000 or more. It's mainly used for quick attack that can easily dodge cancel for more defensive playstyle. I'm surprised that Lulu of Arm haven't been changed at all. I first thought this move is kinda broken, but it got a pretty big weakness at the end of its attack. Yeah, that's a giant opening right there. Now it's time for his exclusive EX skill that didn't appear in his moveset video. I'm sorry, I forgot to render and export a whole thing, so it just suddenly cut near the end. His old EX mode, Blood Weapon, is returned as his EX skill. For 20 seconds, his Bravary attack will also deal a portion amount of damage straight to opponent's health, and also heal Firion in the same amount. HP damage and heals are about 31.25% of base damage, aka every damage buff and debuff won't apply to this. Side note, you can KO your opponent with this damage, it will stuck at 1 HP. In addition to that, letting an HP attack will also heal Firion for 40% of damage dealt. This skill used to drain his health a little bit while he have a buff on, but it has been removed since February 4th, probably cause it's too punishing. But the funny thing is, in patch November 24th, a Sephiroth patch as I like to put it, also add an additional 7.5 speed buff. Never sure why they did that, but it's pretty useful I guess. Most players will build his EX skill with universal build, Mighty Strike, HP regen, Brave regen, something like that. But some players will use Good Time EX skill, which work exactly like Bad Time but for your team buff instead. It will make his blood weapon stay a little bit longer, so that is that. When it comes to mashup and counter, it's really hard to tell. Anyone can be a hard time for Firion if they can stay in mid-air. This is not actual official counter list though, it just might draw from observation and research, so keep that in mind. But the character I think that Firion mostly counter are the ones that focus on close range combat but don't have much mobility, like Sizzle and Squall. Sizzle Paladin form is a little bit slower than Speed type, only have to worry about his driving attack and not much else. Its Dark Knight is a little bit harder to deal with, but his projectile are pretty slow, so it's easier to dodge. Watch out for his Dark Flame and Holy Flame though. Squall is all out close range and he can only attack someone in the same height, so he's gonna have to duel with Firion if he wants to get in. For characters that counter Firion, pretty much anyone with quick long range AoE move like Onion and Terra Media can be hard for him to deal with. But the two that trouble him the most are TETSUYA and Kuja. Really good TETSUYA can quickly dodge and counter Firion easily, and that strength character is a pain to chase. Kuja Holy Ray can pretty much pull Firion from the ground without much risk, and he can stay in mid-air pretty long. Keep in mind that I might be wrong cause I haven't actually played the game, so not recommended taking it seriously. Alright, that's enough for him. Boy, I'm not sure if either Firion is too complicated or Warrior Blight is too simple. If this video come out late, this is the reason. So yeah, what for next character you want me to talk like this? But I will use a straw poll instead. I will put it in the description. The poll will close a week after this video release, so the more you know. If you want to make me suffer, then want someone who's very complicated. And if you excuse me, I'm gonna go find some wild blows.